Imagine your life not as some sprawling, unpredictable timeline that just stretches out into the fog, right?
Right.
But instead, think of it as a fast-paced, highly strategic game. And it has a strict, non-negotiable limit, exactly 20 overs.
Just 20.
Yeah, you step onto the pitch, the clock is ticking, and, every single swing of the bat actually counts.
It's a really intense way to look at things.
It is. And that is the core premise of this fascinating framework we're exploring today in our deep dive. We are looking at a piece of source material called the T20 Playbook for a 60-year life match.
Yeah, written by Prakash Jadawala, who writes under the pen name Praja, straight out of Ahmedabad.
And the math that Praja uses here to, set up this whole framework
Yeah.
is honestly what makes it so compelling to analyze.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the sport of cricket, a T20 match is this modern, super shortened version of the game. It lasts exactly 20 overs.
And an over is just a set of 6 deliveries, right? Like 6 pitches by one bowler.
Exactly, 6 pitches. So Praja proposes that we look at a person's average active, working life as being about 60 years.
Okay.
And when you divide those 60 years by the 20 overs of a T20 match, you get this remarkably clean ratio.
Every 3 years of your life equals exactly 1 over in this match.
Yes. So ages 1 to 3, that's over number 1, 4 to 6 is over number 2, and so on, right up to age 60.
It totally reframes how we experience time. Like you aren't just drifting through the decades anymore.
No, you're on a very specific clock.
Right. So our mission with this deep dive today is to take that very specific math and map out the ultimate strategy for your 60-year innings.
We're going to look at how the mechanics of modern T20 cricket can actually give you a tangible tactical edge in the game of life.
Yeah, we'll break down the timeline, the strategy, and these modern rules the text suggests can literally save your match when things look totally grim.
So to start, Praja applies specific phases of a T20 match to human development, starting from literally the very first ball bowled.
Okay, lay it out for us.
The text begins with overs 1 through 6, so that covers ages 1 to 18.
Got it.
And in cricket terminology, the specific phase is called the power play.
The power play. Okay, let's translate that for anyone who doesn't watch the sport. What is a power play, like mechanically speaking?
So during the first 6 overs of a T20 match, there are these strict fielding restrictions.
What does that mean?
It means the rules literally force most of the opposing team's fielders to stay inside this designated small circle right close to the batter.
Oh, wow, so the rest of the field just empty.
Exactly. The outfield, the vast expanse of the stadium, is left wide open.
Okay.
Because there's barely anyone out deep to catch the ball, your opportunity to score quickly and hit the ball into those empty spaces is at its absolute peak.
So the pressure is just relatively low compared to the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's the easiest time to score without getting caught out.
And Praja connects this fielding restriction beautifully to our first 18 years of life.
He really does.
During childhood and adolescence, the pressure of real-world responsibility is kept, artificially low.
Right, by your environment?
Yeah, your parents, your extended family, your teachers, they are the fielding restrictions.
That's a great way to put it.
They're absorbing all those heavy burdens and just keeping them away from you. You aren't worrying about how to pay a mortgage or navigating some complex health insurance claim.
We're dealing with massive corporate layoffs, yeah.
Exactly. The field of your life is just open.
And the source material emphasizes that this life power play is entirely about building a massive foundation.
Right, taking advantage of the open field.
Yes, the education you receive, the habits you form, and what Praja refers to as sanskar.
Which translates roughly to your cultural values, ethics, upbringing,
Yeah,
right?
your core values. He says those dictate the score for the rest of your life.
Because if you waste it,
Well, in cricket, if a team wastes the power play by, playing too cautiously or just getting distracted, they spend the remaining 14 overs desperately trying to catch up.
right, the mass turns against them.
And Praja argues the exact same thing applies to those formative years. If you don't gather those values in that basic education by age 18, the rest of the life match just becomes this massive uphill battle.
I mean, I understand the theory there, but let's be real. In the actual sport, the power play eventually ends.
Yes, exactly. At the end of the 6th over.
The umpire signals those fielding restrictions are lifted, and suddenly the fielders spread out all over that massive stadium.
They're everywhere.
And hitting a boundary gets instantly, almost violently harder.
Oh, yeah.
So does the source material suggest life has that same sudden cliff edge drop-off. Because, turning 18 doesn't magically make you an adult who has everything figured out.
It doesn't. And the text actually addresses that abrupt transition head on. It identifies a very specific mechanism called the strategic timeout.
A timeout.
Yeah. In a T20 match, shortly after the power play ends, the teams take a literal scheduled pause in the game to just sit and reassess.
Okay, so how does that map to turning 18?
Well, in this life framework, that timeout hits right around age 18 because school ends.
Right.
The forced structure you've relied on for 18 years just evaporates.
The safety net is just gone. Completely.
It is the ultimate turning point of the innings. The playbook notes this is where you must sit down and make decisions that will, alter the trajectory of your entire life.
Like what kind of decisions?
The text specifically points to the pressure of taking major entrance exams in India.
Oh, like the NEET for medical fields or the JE for engineering.
Exactly. Or, choosing a degree, picking an entirely different vocational path.
Right.
It's the moment you transition from just passively absorbing information to actively charting your strategic course.
It's that jarring realization that you can't just aimlessly swing the bat anymore.
No, you have to pick a direction.
And you have to know what kind of game you're actually playing.
Yeah, and Praja highlights a critical psychological element here. One right decision during this specific strategic timeout can literally secure your footing for the rest of the match.
Wow.
It's not about finalizing your destiny forever, obviously, but setting the initial strategy for how you'll handle those fielders who are now moving out into the deep.
Because you are preparing for the longest stretch of the game.
The longest stretch, yeah.
Which brings us to the phase that I think, honestly, will resonate most heavily with our listeners. We are entering the middle overs.
Overs 7 to 15.
Right. In our life math, this covers the massive stretch from age 19 all the way to 45.
It's a huge block of time.
It is. Now, in a real cricket match, the middle overs can often feel like an absolute grind.
Oh, totally.
The field is completely spread out, so hitting the ball into the stands is incredibly risky.
You'll probably get caught.
Yeah, so batters usually spend this time just tapping the ball into gaps, running to the other end of the pitch, and taking what they call singles and doubles.
Just accumulating points 1 or 2 at a time.
Exactly. So is Praja saying this 26-year phase of life is really just about, like, surviving the daily routine, just grinding it out?
It's very easy to view it as a grind, especially when you're in the thick of it, but the source makes a really critical distinction here.
Okay, what's that?
It is not just about surviving. It's about maintaining your run rate, your momentum, while balancing incredibly heavy burdens.
Right.
In cricket, the middle overs require immense discipline. You can't try to hit a home run or a six in cricket terms on every single pitch.
Because you will inevitably get caught out by a fielder.
Exactly. You have to be smart.
So if you're listening to this on your commute right now, balancing a massive project at work, trying to figure out how to pay for your kids' braces, and, managing your household.
You are directly in the middle overs.
You're playing a long game.
You are. And for ages 19 to 45, the text emphasizes that this is the time for building a strong partnership.
A partnership.
Yeah. In cricket, there are always 2 batters on the field at the same time. They stand at opposite ends of the pitch.
Okay.
And they have to work together, communicate flawlessly, and decide exactly when to run between the wickets to score those points.
And in life, Praja aligns this directly with marriage and finding a life partner.
He does, yes.
I find that analogy incredibly revealing about how relationships actually function under pressure.
Oh, it really is.
Because if you and your batting partner aren't communicating, like if one of you decides to sprint forward and the other one hesitates and stays put.
Somebody is going to get run out.
Exactly. You lose a player.
Yeah.
So map that to life. If you are trying to aggressively pay down debt, but your partner is secretly racking up credit card bills.
You aren't running between the wickets together.
Right. The partnership just collapses.
That is the exact mechanism the text is getting at. You're juggling immense pressures from all directions.
Yeah.
Praja specifically mentions the weight of home loans and children's education during these years.
Which are massive burdens.
Huge. And because the field is spread out, the challenges are coming from everywhere. Your career, your finances, your family dynamics.
So you and your partner just have to keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Yes, with consistent strategic scoring.
Yeah.
It's not about being flashy during this phase. It's about stability, communication, and resilience.
So you spend decades building up this solid score, taking those singles and doubles, paying the mortgage, raising the kids.
Yep.
And that methodical discipline sets you up for the final chronological stretch of the framework. Overs 16 to 20.
Ages 46 to 60.
Right, and in T20 cricket, these are famously known as the death overs.
Which sounds so ominous to an outsider, I know.
It really does.
But in T20 cricket, the death overs are actually the most thrilling, explosive part of the entire game.
It's pure fireworks. This is the time for hard hitting.
Exactly.
Because according to the playbook, at age 46, you step into this phase with a massive wealth of experience behind you.
You know the pitch.
You know the nuances of the game. You know exactly how the bowlers are trying to trick you because, well, you've seen every trick in the book for the last 45 years.
That's spot on. And your goals during this phase become highly specific.
Okay, what are they?
The source outlines 3 main objectives for these final 15 years. Reaching the absolute peak of your career, gathering your retirement fund, and ensuring your children are settled.
Think about the mentors or leaders in your own industry who are in their 50s.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to watch someone use all that accumulated life experience, all the grinding lessons from the middle overs, to give their life's match what Praja calls a grand finishing touch.
They aren't just letting the clock run out.
No, they're maximizing everything they've built.
It's the culmination of your entire strategy. The text uses the concept of conserving your wickets here.
Okay, remind us what a wicket is in this context.
Sure. A wicket essentially represents a batter's life in the game.
Right.
Once a team loses 10 wickets, their turn is completely over, no matter how many overs are left.
Got it.
And Praja equates wickets to your health and your core resources.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right. If you have protected your health and finances through the grind of the middle overs, you arrive at the death overs with wickets in hand.
Which gives you freedom.
Total freedom. It allows you to swing freely, take bigger swings in your career or personal goals, and really secure a dominant position before retirement.
So the chronological innings is beautifully set from age 1 to 60. But here is where we need to peel back another layer of this text.
This is my favorite part.
Because Praja doesn't just stop at the basic timeline. He incorporates the modern rules of T20 cricket.
Rules that were only introduced to the sport very recently, actually.
Right, and he explains how they apply to the modern complexities of our lives. These are the mechanics that don't just guide your timeline, but can, completely flip the momentum of your life when you're losing.
The playbook shifts here from just a simple timeline to a deeply tactical guide for survival.
Let's start with the impact player rule.
Okay.
For anyone unfamiliar with modern T20, an impact player is a substitute. Teams name this player before the match, and they can be brought into the game at almost any moment to replace someone on the field. They can just come out of nowhere, completely fresh, and change the entire dynamic of the match. How does the text decode a literal substitute player for our daily lives?
The author describes your life's impact players as your invisible strength.
Invisible strength.
Yeah. They aren't always actively on the field, and you might not even notice them on a day-to-day basis, but they're sitting on the bench, ready to be called upon.
So what are they, specifically?
The text identifies 3 main impact players: your financial savings, your health awareness, and your genuine relationships.
Oh, wow. It's like having a heavy-duty generator in your basement.
That's a perfect comparison.
You know, you don't use it to power your house every day. You probably don't even think about it most weeks.
Right.
But the day a massive storm knocks the entire grid out, that generator is literally the only thing keeping the lights on and keeping your family safe.
That captures the dynamic perfectly. When hard times hit, maybe you face a sudden medical emergency or, a massive corporate downsizing leaves you unemployed, you might feel like you are actively losing the match.
The momentum is against you.
Exactly. And that is the exact moment you sub in your impact player. Your bank balance and your true friends step onto the field to absorb the damage and save you from defeat.
They shift the momentum back in your favor.
Right, which really highlights why diligently building those reserves during the middle overs is so critical.
I totally see how that works for external shocks, like a layoff or an illness. But I have to push back on how this framework handles our own failures.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, having good friends and savings is great, but what if you just make a terrible call?
Oh, I see.
You swing, you miss, you make a disastrous career choice, or you ruin a relationship through your own fault. The umpire raises the finger, game over.
You're out.
Yeah. No substitute is going to fix a fundamental error you made yourself.
In the old days of cricket, you'd be absolutely right. The umpire's word was final, and you just had to walk off the pitch. But Praja counters this fatalistic view by bringing in the DRS rule,
The decision review system.
Correct.
The video replay system.
Yeah. Exactly. In modern cricket, if the umpire makes a bad call, or if a player thinks they've been unfairly given out, they can challenge it.
The game just stops.
Yep. The third umpire reviews the footage in slow motion, checks infrared cameras, looks at ball tracking software, and corrects the mistake.
Okay, so how does that work for us?
In life, Praja argues the DRS is introspection.
Introspection as a literal video replay.
Yes.
But let me challenge that comparison too.
Yeah.
Because in cricket, the team has a highly objective camera showing them exactly what happened.
Sure.
In life, our introspection is inherently biased. We are terrible at judging our own mistakes objectively.
That's very true.
So how does the playbook suggest we review our errors without just, lying to ourselves and making excuses?
The mechanism the text suggests relies on the deliberate act of stepping back. Introspection here isn't just briefly feeling bad about what happened, it's treating your life with the analytical rigor of a sports review.
Oh, I like that.
You look at the footage of your failed presentation or the argument that ended your relationship. You examine the variables.
Dispassionately.
Exactly. The crucial insight from Praja is that a mistake is only the end of your innings if you lack the wisdom to take a review.
So you don't just walk off the pitch feeling defeated.
No.
You sit down, you pull out a journal.
Yeah.
Maybe you talk to a mentor or a therapist who acts as that objective third umpire.
That's a great way to use your network, yeah.
You figure out exactly what your mistake was, you overturn the out decision in your own mind by learning from it, and you keep batting.
Which brings us to how we balance that learning with taking actual risks. Because you can't just review your mistakes all day and play purely defensively.
Right. If you just defend every single pitch and never try to score, you might survive, but you aren't going to get a high score.
You lose the match.
At some point, you have to try to send the ball into the stands.
And that requires what the text calls a calculated risk. When the right opportunity appears, Praja says you must take that risk without fear.
What does a calculated risk look like mechanically in this 60-year framework?
The source provides very grounded examples, like starting a new business venture or making a massive lateral career change in your 30s or 40s.
Okay.
These are not reckless swings in the dark. They are calculated.
You've done the math.
You have assessed the field, you have looked at the bowler, you have checked your impact player reserves on the bench, and you decide to go for it.
Taking these calculated boundaries is what makes your life extraordinary rather than just, ordinary.
Exactly.
But taking a risk inherently means sometimes your plan is going to fail. And the text shifts gears here to look at things from the other side of the ball.
The fielding side perspective.
Right. What happens when you are the one getting hammered? In cricket terms, your bowlers are giving up massive amounts of runs, your fielders are dropping easy catches, the crowd is against you.
It's a nightmare scenario.
The match feels like it is totally slipping out of your control. How does the playbook say a person should react when life feels like that?
Yeah. The text advises us to look at the strategy of a good team captain under extreme pressure.
Okay.
When a team is getting crushed, a truly great captain does not panic. They don't throw a tantrum or let their emotions dictate their choices.
They stay calm.
They stay incredibly calm, and they analyze the mechanics of why they are losing.
So if your fast bowler is getting hit for boundaries on every single pitch, you don't just keep bowling fast and hoping it magically works this time.
No, you change tactics. The text says, bring on the spin attack.
Okay, let's explain
A
why that
T20
matters.
blast of life,
Fast bowling
thrilling
relies
journey.
on pure speed and brute force to intimidate the batter, right?
Right.
Spin bowling is entirely different. A spin bowler bowls much slower, but they use their fingers and wrists to make the ball rotate rapidly.
So that when it bounces, it changes direction unpredictably.
Exactly. It relies on deception, finesse, and using the environment, the pitch itself, to trick the opponent.
That is a phenomenal metaphor for life strategy.
It really is. Think about how we approach our careers. When we're young, we often rely on fast bowling, which is just brute force.
Working 80 hours a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, we hustle, we burn the midnight oil. But if you are 40 years old and that brute force is no longer yielding results, or worse, it's destroying your health,
You can't just keep bowling fast.
you will break down.
If your current method is failing, Praja argues you have to shift to spin.
You step back.
You step back, you analyze the environment, and you use finesse. You use lateral thinking. You leverage your network. You find a smarter, less physically taxing way to solve the problem.
You change the pace and engineer a comeback.
It is entirely about adaptability over stubbornness.
Stop doing the thing that is actively losing you the game.
Right.
Okay, as we head into our own final over of this deep dive, let's pull all of these threads together. We've explored the power play of youth, where our parents absorb the pressure.
We've talked about the grind of the middle overs and running between the wickets with a partner.
We've looked at the explosive death overs and how impact players, video reviews, and spin attacks give us a real tactical edge. What is the ultimate takeaway from Praj's 60-year playbook?
The overarching message of the entire text is profoundly resilient. T20 teaches us that simply playing the full 20 overs is the most important achievement of the match.
Just staying in the game.
Think about the mechanics of a cricket match. If the opening batter, the star player the team was relying on, gets struck out for 0 points on the very first ball of the match.
The rest of the team doesn't just pack up their bags, forfeit, and go home.
No, the next player walks out of the locker room. They adjust the strategy.
They focus on maintaining the run rate and surviving until the last over.
And the text reminds us that if you face a massive failure, a devastating financial loss, or a personal tragedy early in life, or even deep into the middle overs, you must never abandon the match halfway.
You can't retire hurt just because you took a hit. You have to stay on the crease, that safe zone where the batter stands to face the pitch.
True sportsmanship, as Praja defines it in this context, is staying on that crease. It is living strongly and keeping hope alive, because as long as you are standing on the pitch, the match is not over. As the text concludes, keep playing, live grandly, and win grandly.
As long as you're on the pitch, the match isn't over. It takes this highly mathematical, strategic framework of 20 overs in 60 years and gives it a deeply beating human heart.
It really does.
It is a masterclass in resilience disguised as sports strategy.
It completely reframes how we view our daily struggles. They aren't signs that the game is over or that we are inherently failing at life. They are simply difficult overs that require a tactical change in strategy.
So, to everyone listening right now, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder today. Do the math. 60 years, 20 overs, 3 years per over. Take a moment today and calculate exactly which over of your life you are currently batting in.
Look closely at your strategy.
Yeah. Look closely at the strategy you are deploying right now. Are you coasting on singles and doubles when you actually have the experience, the foundation, and the impact players on the bench to take a calculated risk and swing for the boundaries? Or, on the flip side, are you stubbornly relying on brute force fast bowling, forcing an old strategy that's leaking runs and exhausting you when your current situation desperately calls for a calm, analytical spin attack? Check the scoreboard, take a deep breath, and get ready for the next delivery.